Let's talk about calories. The word calories gets thrown around quite a lot, and it's important we know exactly what a calorie is and how we can use it when interpreting food labels. Calories are a way of measuring the amount of energy we take in through our food and also the amount of energy we expend throughout the day. The way we take in calories is just through our food and what we eat and drink, and the way we lose calories is in two ways. So there's the basal metabolic rate, so that's just the basic metabolism our body does as it ticks away to maintain basic survival. So this is things like breathing, respiration and digestion, and also any extra physical activity we do on top of that. In order to maintain a stable weight, the amount of energy we take in a single day through our food and drink needs to be equal to the amount of energy we lose in a single day, both in terms of our basic metabolic rate and also any extra physical activity we do. For people who are underweight and are trying to gain weight, the amount of energy they take in through the food needs to exceed the amount of energy they lose through their basic metabolism and any extra physical activity they do. So these people need to have a calorie excess. That means their arrow going in on the left needs to be bigger than the arrow leaving on the right. For people who are trying to lose weight, they're aiming for a calorie deficit. So the arrow on the left going in, the food, needs to be smaller than the amount of energy leaving. That's the arrow on the right. There's small calories and there's large calories. All food calories are in kilocalories, so KCAL, and they're all measured in large calories. So that's the unit we'll be using for the purpose of measuring the calorie count of the foods that I make. A single food or large calorie is defined as the amount of energy it would take to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So every single food you eat has its own calorie count, and you can see that on the nutrition labels on the packaging of different foods. It's important to note that the calories given on nutrition labels do not necessarily equal how much energy that your body converts it into. That's because some energy is used in digesting certain foods, and that varies depending on how difficult or easy the food is to digest. For example, you may have 20 calories worth of oats and 20 calories worth of chocolate, but your body may not necessarily get 20 calories out of both of those different foods because of the amount of energy it takes to digest them. So in the case of oats, they're harder to digest and more energy will be used in trying to release the calories from them. So you tend to get less out of oats than you do from chocolate. It's also important not to get too caught up in calorie counting, because having just a number of calories doesn't take into account the actual nutritional breakdown of the foods. So, for example, you could have 10 calories that you get from just fat compared with 20 calories that you get from protein. Arguably, having more calories from protein is better for your health than having less calories from fat, just because of the health implications of fat versus protein. The food label on the right of the screen demonstrates this point. So this gives the calorie breakdown and also the nutrient breakdown for 25 grams worth of milk chocolate chips. So on the left you can see that 25 grams has 128 calories in them. But if you just had that information, it may seem that, that's not many calories. But if you look at the breakdown on the right, you can see that the number of grams of fat, the number of grams of saturates, and also 15 grams of sugar goes into that quantity of milk chocolate chips. It's also nice to be aware of the energy density of food. So the three big groups of foods we take in our diet are fats, carbohydrates and proteins. The energy density of carbohydrates and proteins are the same. So in a single gram of carbohydrate or protein, that's got 4 calories in it. But in a single gram of fat, that's over double, that's at 9 calories. So you can see that fats have a far greater energy density than carbohydrates or proteins. The general guidelines for how many calories men and women should take in a single day. The aim is 2,000 calories for women and 2,500 calories for men. This is based on average weight, muscle mass and physical activity, so this will vary from person to person. The actual number of calories you or I need in a single day may be more or less than either 2,000 or 2,500. depending on your weight, your muscle mass, and also those two things we mentioned, so your basal metabolic rate and also the amount of physical activity you do in a day. Putting all of this into a real life context, what we find is that a 51 gram Mars bar contains 230 calories, a standard 100 gram apple has 52 calories, and a simple slice of pizza has 272 calories, and a can of Coke has 139 calories. A bit of background about me before we wrap up. My name's Adiba. I am a 25-year-old doctor working in central London, and I'm interested in health and nutrition. So if you find these kinds of videos useful, then let me know and I can do more of these. Or if you prefer the cooking videos, then that's fine and I can do more of those. I hope this gives you a good introduction to what calories are and how you can use them in your daily life. I hope this also goes with my cost and calorie videos so that you get more of an understanding about the calorie count of different foods. Next week I'll be showing you my barbecue chicken fajita recipe, so keep an eye out for that.